sitting where you're sitting now, and Ucha brought his motorcycle out onto the stage with him. And I immediately thought, wouldn't it be so cool if someone could bring a horse onto the stage? I didn't bring a horse on the stage. It was against the rules, but from that moment on, the idea began to take root and really blossom. I had tried horseback riding about 5 years ago for a semester, and I remembered really enjoying myself. It was an opportunity to try something new, to try a new sport, to work with big animals, but also to learn a little bit more about myself. I'll talk about that a little bit later. Here are the horses that I rode. On your right, there's Maverick. He is a crotchety old man. He likes to roll around in his own stall and get very dirty. And on the left is Rocket, who is usually very sweet and nice, but has his moments, and is terrified of loud noises, which no one told me the first time I rode him. So you can imagine how terrifying it was when he took off to the middle of the ring after hearing a truck go by. I was able to take control of the situation. I wasn't thrown, but I hurt my back, and it took me a while to get back on the horse, but I did, so here I am. So, I called up the barn that I had worked with 5 years ago, Beach Hill Farms in Pleasantville, New York, and they were happy to help me. My trainer, my mentor, Lisa Haynes, she helped me so much. She was not able to be here today, but I was able to work out a system where I could work at the stable in exchange for lessons. So I would groom and tack 13 horses for lessons, and then I'd get a half-hour lesson in return. Grooming a horse could take anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour, depending how big the horse is, depending on how dirty the horse is. So most of my time was spent there. When grooming a horse, the first thing I do is take a currying brush, that's this one here, and you just go in circles. You take all the dirt and dust and shedding hair out of the horse. You inhale most of it. Next, you'll just take a hard brush and then a soft brush and brush off all the dust that you've just got off the horse. Next, we work on the mane and the tail. This is a mane brush, and it's just like brushing your own hair. If it's knotty, you'll start at the bottom and work your way up. I'm working with schooling horses, which means they're trained to give lessons, so we can keep their manes long and their tails nice and natural. More for sporting horses, hunting horses, they might shave their manes off to give them more speed and agility, but we just let their manes be natural. We just want to get up tangles and things like that. And then this is a hoof pick. We pick the hooves, and we groom the horse in general before lessons to make sure that they're healthy, to prevent skin and hoof infections, and to prevent chafing under the tack before you ride. But picking the hooves, not my favorite part. You'll stand facing the rear of the horse, you'll take your arm down and they'll lift up their leg, and then you just scrape out onto the floor, because if you scrape up, you will hit yourself in the face with horse manure. I've done that before. It's not fun. Horses are also, as most of us know, very intelligent, clever animals, and they'll try and play tricks on you. When you're working on their hind legs, they'll sometimes deliberately fart in your face. Not fun either. But you gotta watch out for these things. There's lots of little details. So once we've groomed the horse, we're ready to tack it. On the bottom here, I have a saddle pad. The saddle pad absorbs sweat, prevents chafing again, and just provides a layer of cushion. And then we have a riser pad on top of that. That just makes sure the saddle's fitting snug. And then, of course, the saddle, which most people know of, the girth strap goes underneath the horse, keeping it in place. And then the bridle, I had the most difficulty with the bridle. This is Maverick. It was dinner time, so he was giving me a rough time putting on the bridle. I learned many tricks. You're supposed to put your hand over the nose of the horse to keep it down, because they'll try and lift their head so you can't touch them. Also, if they're really not letting you put the bit in their mouth, you can put your fingers in between their front teeth and their molars. There's a gap, and then they'll open up their mouth so you can get that on, get to riding. So I'd just like to take a moment to talk about the friends of the barn. We had lots of animals at the barn. So that was Greta, and this is Penny. No. This is Mama Cat, she rules the barn. This is Chico the donkey. And then this is little Eddie. He was kind of mean. All right, now we're ready to ride. that. That's the simplest, and then I'll get him to trot. It's the beginning of our lesson, so he's giving me a bit of a slow trot. And you'll see me going up and down. That's called posting. We post to make it more comfortable for you and the horse while you're posting. Posting is going up and down the horse while the horse is trotting. The trotting is just every other leg coming up. It's a slow jog. So that's that. And while we do these things, most of my time is spent doing that. While we're doing these things, you want to keep your arms steady, you want to keep your posture straight, you want to keep your heels down. So all these things that you're trying to remember at the same time. You can play this one. Nope, go back. It's off the video. Here, I'm in the position for jumping. This is called 2-point. Most of my lessons were spent trotting and in 2-point and posting. Here I'm standing on the saddle, holding onto the horse's mane. I did these exercises to strengthen my inner thigh muscles and my core, which was necessary to do slightly harder things. This is a group lesson. You can play that. You can see me trying to look for an opening, sit in the middle there. Group lessons were more difficult than private lessons because you need to not only remember everything that you're doing, but remember everything everyone else is doing. You want to keep 1 or 2 horse distances between you and the horse in front of you, like driving, even though I don't know how to drive. I can ride a horse. So group lessons were beneficial because I could watch what other people were doing and emulate what they were doing well. But private lessons were definitely easier to know what you were doing. And this is my canter. And I worked so hard to get to this point. Cantering is a run. 3 legs are coming up at the same time. It's much more meditative than trotting is. You're really going with the horse. You feel like you're extensions of each other. So it took me a lot of practice and strengthening my muscles to get to that point to be able to. And I really felt that I had been ready and prepared when cantering. Once we've ridden, we have to clean up the tack. Here I just wanted to depict a Western saddle. Western saddles are made for working and long distances. I've been riding English, and I've been telling you about English horseback riding. As you can see, this has a horn on the front of the saddle. That's for roping up calves and things like that. Chico again. So, you'll remember the donkey. This project took its toll on me mentally, physically. I was growing, I was strengthening myself, but I also discovered a lot about myself internally. So, my very first day, working all alone, I was told I had to get a pony named Rosie ready for her lesson, and she was out in the pen with Chico the donkey. Chico is in love with Rosie. So I was told that it might be difficult and that he might give me some trouble, but I insisted that I could handle it. So I went out, I decided to put on his halter and his lead rope. I would lead Chico out to his stall, but of course he had other plans. He pushed me against the wall and ran out towards the trails. I was dragged several feet. I was terrified, and all of a sudden he stopped and he turned around and began staring me down. I was not sure what to do, but after a few heaves, I was able to get him back in the pen. This whole time I was thinking to myself, I'm going to lose a donkey and a pony on my first day. But I reassessed the situation, and I realized I couldn't split up true love. So I got Rosie's halter on as well, and I was able to take them both out to the barn at the same time. This made me realize that I could be independent and trust my instincts, that I could depend on myself and keep myself organized, and react well under pressure and fear of being kicked by a donkey. So I try and take these qualities that I learned on my very first day with me through my life, into my internships, into college, and the barn taught me so much about experience, about manual labor and the benefits, about myself and my psyche. So, yeah. Now we've become friends. He just wanted a little bit of love in his life. And then I'd like to do my thank yous while I show you this video of horses in Halloween costumes. I would like to thank the Beach Hill Farms, first and foremost, my mentor, Lisa Haynes, my in-school mentor, Ms. Volpe, for helping me so much with the speech and the presentation. I'd like to thank our advisors, Ms. Ronan and Ms. Volpe, for dealing with our class. I would like to thank my parents for driving me to and from the barn, for paying for extra lessons, for making my idea a reality. And I'd like to thank my class, because you guys are just great little weirdos. And I love you guys so much in high school. It's been such an amazing journey. So thank you. Do I see myself riding in the future? I don't know. That's an interesting question. I suppose I could see myself owning a horse in the future. Yeah. So, guess that's a yes, probably. Oh, Lynn?
Did you ever fall off a horse?
I did not. People told me that it was probably going to be inevitable. I was able to stay on every time the horse would lose its footing or something like that. There were a couple moments where I was about to fall off, but no, I was able to stay up.
Did you ever go trail riding?
I have been trail riding before. I didn't go trail riding for this project because I wanted to learn more techniques for competition and stuff like that, but yeah, I have been. Yeah?
What was your favorite horse?
My favorite horse? Probably the ones I rode, probably Maverick and Rocket that you saw there, just because they were my teachers. They helped me so much. Any?
What can you tell us about getting a donkey to move?
I tried the classic pull, like you see in the movies, but I didn't want to. You have to get from behind and push them, which is terrifying because they have very strong legs, but they're pretty nice about it. No, I did not get to jumping. There was some time management stuff that I had to work on, but I'm satisfied with my progress. You okay?
Have you ever ridden a horse outside of the barn?
Outside of the barn, like down the street? No, I haven't. Like I said, some of them get scared by cars more than